I'm Doug. I'm going to be the storyteller, and I would like to introduce the cast.
I'm Angela, also known as Gangrel Kitty, and tonight I'll be playing Lillith.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I will be playing the character Herkermer Milton.
Hi, I'm Michael, and I'll be playing Hannibal Wagner.
And I'm Xylus, and I'll be playing Charlie.
If you're watching us on YouTube, or if you haven't done it yet, please head on over to our YouTube and subscribe. We are just past the halfway mark on our way to getting 100 subscribers. Our goal, so we can get our own YouTube URL. And if you are watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and ding the bell if you want notifications for future content. Definitely motivates us to produce this content for you on a weekly basis. And every time I open that YouTube screen and I see another subscriber, it just makes my heart soar. All that out of the way, let's be vampires. Consequences. A fundamental law of reality. What goes up must come down. For every action, there must be an equal and opposite reaction. World of Darkness, though, has a funny way of twisting these laws, these fundamental realities. Small actions don't always have small reactions. And what is falling sometimes falls much farther than it was intended to be. Tonight, in our dark city, our coterie may experience some consequences for their decisions and their actions. We will see. Maybe they will surface, or maybe the consequences will be much larger than they will see in the immediate. 2 days have passed. 2 times the sun has risen, 2 times the sun has fallen. When we last left our coterie, Hannibal and Herkermer were discussing the surveillance of a building that sat on top of an exit to what was the old Prince's Haven. The building housed a sweatshop. They used a cover of a laundry service to force individuals into labor for almost no prices. Indentured servitude in modern times. Herkermer. Just to reiterate, you had spent the last 2 days surveilling the sweatshop with using a laundry service as a cover. You observed during that time several individuals coming out, seeming to be an argument over pay. When you had texted Hannibal about these individuals, sent them pictures, surveillance sort of information that you had received during the day. Later on that evening, Hannibal confirmed that those are individuals who were tasked with basically enforcing the labor. After that argument, the next day, individuals seemed to be filtering away during breaks. As there was nobody left to enforce the sweatshop labor, it seemed to be, people seemed to be just walking off the job, deciding that they could try to fend for themselves elsewhere, as there was no one really there to threaten or cajole them or convince them otherwise. You receive a text from Hannibal saying that he's on his way, and you go to leave. Where do you go, Herkermer?
Well, since Nat's coming, I'm probably going to head to the hospital.
Okay.
Because I want to go and check out the basement down below and find out what's there.
Okay. Herkermer tasks himself with investigating. He climbs aboard his shitbox car. The car that seems to run has trouble starting sometimes, but runs rather well despite its appearance of barely being held together by duct tape and baling wire. He drives to the districts of the Pier District or the Port District, and arrives at St. Peregrine's Community Hospital. The tall white alabaster stone walls, the Art Deco exterior cracked and fraying, glooms over the slightly overcast and rainy sky as Herkermer uses his temporary visitor's pass that's been arranged by Charlie Allsun to enter the facilities. You, of course, I'm assuming that you are wearing like scrubs or something like that, so you don't attract too much notice.
Right. Well, I had some scrubs that I grabbed from the last time I came here.
Mm-hmm.
Because I put them on over my clothes. This time I'll actually kind of change out of my ratty stuff and just put on my scrubs to make it, less obvious.
Yeah, of course. You don't track too much now. Yeah, you don't. You shift over your hair a little bit and you kind of put the clothes on. You of course haven't had time to properly care for yourself and hygienically as you live on the street. So you do attract some faint notice because of unhygienic as you walk in, but nothing more than probably a nurse or a lab worker or a doctor that has been and sitting in the hospital for a week at a time, collecting sweat and anxiety on themselves. And it's obviously overpowered by the sterile smells coming over, trying to fight over the atmosphere of pain and suffering, and the other residents of the city as they crowd through these short, narrow, old hallways. You find yourself in the basement, standing at the precipice of the ramp that leads below. You, I believe you had enough to prepare a concoction of your new formula.
Actually, I can't via XP.
Oh, you have not purchased that. Okay.
I have not. I'm not able to purchase the actual formula.
Okay, so you take a flashlight. In other words, okay. So you take your flashlight down.
Doing my best to be unobtrusive and kind of sneaky as best I can, though I am not a sneaky individual.
Okay. You take an air of caution, as one would when they're trying to be stealthy. They're usually also pretty aware of their surroundings. It's hard not to feel paranoid as you go into the suffocating atmosphere of a barren cavern that has been carved out into the sub-basement structure underneath the hospital. You cross the large, broad space held aloft by temporary, I don't know what they're called, when they put a supports and struts. Construction struts, I don't know if that's a term, but we're going to use it. You cross over to the opposite side of the hallway. Or the room. Into the small little temporary walled structure where they have equipment and other things. You walk up to the shelving. Give me an intelligence plus... Let's go with wits. Test, please. I'm going to do an attribute test for you. But everybody's
substitute hunger?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. With everybody's hunger being so high, it's going to be really interesting evening.
I got 1 success.
Okay. So you walk up to the structure, you push it over a little bit to the side, and you see the tunnel. You continue.
Make my way.
Okay. You walk down the long tunnel that leads out from underneath underground. It basically goes north. Out of the foundation of the hospital. Underneath, above, you can almost sense now that you kind of are aware of where its ending is you can imagine the streets above you, people going about their lives, buildings, sewers, those sorts of things. It's kind of fascinating how such a structure like this can go completely unknown by the world above. You walk up to the old stone door that has seen years buried. The door is slightly ajar. You don't know whether or not it was closed when it was out, as Hannibal was the last one to leave last time you were here. And since you got 1 success on your intelligence resolve, we're going to say that you just kind of, you notice it, but you don't really think much of it. That's okay.
All right, I'm good with it.
You walk into the structure that is the old Princess Haven. Ahead of you is a hallway, approximately 18 feet or 6 meters, I believe, for those in other parts of the world that you don't use our system. Off to the left of the hallway is 2 doors. One containing some sort of storage that was ramshackled and wrecked, and the second door, a lab of some sort with antiquated chemistry and esoteric materials of some sort.
Well, that sounds right up my alley. I hadn't come down here with the light before, so I didn't know what was down here. You're telling me there's a lab down here? Woo! Herkermer is looking around at these things, and he does do a little happy dance for himself.
Okay. So you go where and at the end of the hallway is another door, by the way, that leads into the further parts of the structure.
Right. Just for S&G, gonna go down check out the other areas in here just to make sure no one else is here. Just in case someone may have come up through the other way that I didn't know or something.
Okay.
Just being a little on edge, I suppose.
Okay, give me an aware skills. It's probably the one part that it's hard to ingrain, or the new addition is the new skills. Give me one moment. Give me an awareness and wits test.
Three successes.
Okay. So as you're walking up to the end of the hallway, you of course glance in the lab and the storage unit, the storage room. The doors are closed when you walk up to them. You open them up and you look inside with your flashlight. You don't see anything apparent. You walk up to the end of the hallway where the door leads into a larger room, about again about 20 foot by 15 foot, a rectangle shaped room that had all sorts of it was like a lounge room with a sort of strange sort of conspiratorial paintings and artwork. Furniture was dated to before around the turn of the 20th century, perhaps, although you're not a furniture person, so you don't really exactly know. As you get up to the door and you open it up and you look inside, you hear a click come from the large double doors off to the right-hand side just as you open the door. The doors that lead into the bedroom.
All right. Like what kind of click?
Like a turning on or off of a button, like a device or something. Like the snapping.
Okay. Immediately, Herkermer will go quiet and turn off the flashlight.
Mm-hmm.
And try and hide behind something that he remembers where it was.
Mm-hmm.
From that area.
Sure. Now you're in pitch black, so it's hard to navigate around in here. But you look for a place, you turn off the light, and you have enough cognition to find it without bumping or disturbing. But further movement in here, you're going to have to either start testing or turn on a light.
Right. Just kind of peek over toward the door.
Mm-hmm.
Do I see any light coming from behind the door?
You're in pitch black. You do not see any light source.
All right.
Are you waiting, or are you just gonna?
I'm gonna wait for, I don't know, about a good 100 count.
Mm-hmm.
And see what happens.
As you're waiting there, because you're intently aware and there's absolutely no other sounds in this cavernous, barren room underneath the ground, you do hear some creaks coming from the wood-furnished floor in the other room. As the old boards that have been furnished in this place are creaking against the stone. And after a moment of waiting, you see a flashlight or a light source turn on underneath the double doors.
Mm-hmm. With that, I will reach behind me. Okay. And I will pull out my last vial of Far Reach.
Mm-hmm.
And I will kind of feel around me to see if I can feel any kind of loose, heavy object.
Okay.
preferably made of wood.
Yeah, you reach around you every so slightly, very gently, and you do feel maybe a small table, or I don't want to knock over my stuff, like a small bench or something like that, like a little small one of those, one of those little what are they?
Workbench.
Oh no, not like a workbench, like a little thing you put set a teacup on, or like a little thing right next to like a chair or something.
All right. Okay, so we got that.
After a moment, you reach and grab firm grasp of it. One of the doors creaks open, and a light sweeps the room. As the light sweeps the room, it falls over your form. Because even though you are hiding behind something, because you did not have the foresight of really being able to hide, and there's really nothing else in the room to be, it's fairly hard to escape notice, as the person seems to be searching intently for other individuals in the room. And you hear a click, this time a very distinctive click, as the flashlight falls in front of you. Now, because you are technically not known, the person doesn't know where you are because they're just searching for you, you can do an action before anything goes further without a response. Sort of like a surprise action, if you wish.
Can I see this person's face?
No, because the light, the contrast between the light and the darkness behind the person is obscuring. You could tell it's a person.
Right. Well, hell. I don't know if this is going to be too much to ask to do, but I'm going to try to do it anyway.
Sure.
Turn on the flashlight so I can look at the person's face. Break a leg off of the table or chair or whatever it is.
Okay.
To try and get a sharp end.
Okay.
And then far reach up and telekinesis flinging pointed piece of wood at person's chest.
Okay. I'll say you can douse the far reach. So go ahead and give me a rouse check.
Okay.
And breaking the chair is not a hard problem.
Okay. I succeed on my rouse check.
Okay. And yeah, go ahead and give me a fling. Go ahead and fling that thing. You fling that wood, sucker.
I'm attempting to stake. If you can't, it's...
You're attempting to attack him with your decorations.
Yeah, exactly. I got a messy critical and 5 successes total.
Okay, a messy critical. So you definitely do succeed. 5 successes total. Against a person who's surprised, is against their default defense, which is 1. Right. So that is 4. It's improvised weapon. In this case, I'm not going to assign any bonus to it because it's just like a, like literally just a really fashioned, like kind of somewhat sharpened, because you tried to break it off in an angle, and we'll say that you know how to break furniture. Sure.
Well, I did. I've probably broken a few couches in my day.
So you do. You fling it forward. You hear right, hit the person, and at which point you don't hear a click now, because they were gonna just like click on you, but now they're just firing a gun.
All right.
Shit would be a good thing to say right now. Yeah.
I'm very much intending to dodge.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, I am going to blow willpower.
That's good for me.
That is good for you. Sort of.
Now, what is it? It's Dex Athletics.
Yes.
Substituting hunger dice. Yes.
Yes.
I got 1 success.
1 success. Okay, I got 5. Melee conflict.
Well, that's not good.
I'm just looking up what the defense pools are, because I know there's modifiers when you do things. So you take 4, because the margin exceeds the. Well, you got. So you said you got 2.
1.
1. Okay, so that's 4 extra successes for the margin of victory, and or margin of success rather, and then plus 2 because of the damage of code of the weapon. So that you're going to take a total of 6 superficial damage. Now go ahead and you do possess fortitude, so go ahead and give me a rouse check.
What?
The level 2 fortitude, correct?
I only have level 1 fortitude.
Oh, never mind. Go ahead, take the damage.
Yeah. Oh, I did.
Now, mind you, you are thin blood, so you do not half this damage.
Oh, I know. I know.
Yeah.
I took 6 points of damage.
Okay. Now your response action would be, because this is technically taking place at the same time, because it's not one for, like, he shoots you, he shot you in response. What did you want to do on the following round?
Can I see his face with my flashlight now?
You see a person. You can't make out exactly distinctive features. They look like a rough cut, sort of iron jaw looking individual. They have a trench, like a overcoat, and they're wearing a hard hat, and plain clothes. You can't really make out like fine details in the darkness because the light's now swinging around wildly, and it's still very bright in a very dark room.
All right. I'm gonna rush him and try and disarm him of his firearm, because that hurt.
Okay, so go ahead and give me your strength plus brawl against his. He's gonna try to fire at you again. And you are trying to subdue him, correct? Or are you going to try to do damage?
Oh, I'm just trying to subdue. I'm trying to take away the gun at this point.
Sure.
Well, I got 4 successes.
A lot better than me. Well, actually, no, hold on. Okay, 4 successes. It is a push. So you go to try to grab him. He tries to shoot. He misses. And both of you, basically, you're trying to grab and go to... the person is very obviously not a push around. So you can't... you're not landing any firm locks or grips or anything like that as he's kind of maneuvering around now in a very, very close quarters situation with you. He is going to attempt to on the preceding round attempt to fire at you again as you're pushed around. This time, because he's close, he's going to be rolling a different stat though, which is going to change his pool. So good for you. Okay. And what are you attempting to do? Oh, he has the wooden piece stuck in him by the way.
Right. Believe it or not, I would like to, by hand, remove said wooden piece, and then hold up and then far reach it down into the hand that's holding the gun, because I still am in control of the object. Okay. And basically, I'm trying to impale this piece of wood in through his hand to make him drop the gun.
Okay. So give me a pose test. Your far reach test, which
Is resolve plus plus alchemy.
Yeah. Against his shooting test, which is going to be strength plus his firearms. Ooh, okay. Not too bad. He's going to expend the willpower. Which
I will as well.
didn't do any. It's only up to 3 dice. Remember, it's only the black dice, not the red ones.
Right. Well, I will as well. Aha! I got 5 successes again.
You actually succeed. Congratulations.
Yeah!
You farfling, you pull the wooden piece of wood out and jut it down. He sees it coming at him now, and puts his hand instinctively in front of his face. It does pierce his hand. You notice when it did get ripped out, he was like, oh, like, so he gets hit by the thing. He has it in his hand. He goes, the force of it hitting him pushes him up against the railing, the threshold of the door, very forcefully, and he falls over. He looks not to be moving.
All right.
Now the light has settled, fallen to the floor too, and he drops his pistol.
Right. Immediately, like, look at his face, check him out. I want to see who he is, if I can tell who he is.
You look at his face, and his face has the flesh-like pallor of a human being.
Oh,
he
no.
looks to be bleeding. Now you don't feel hunger the same way that a kindred does. The urge to feed is much easier to quell. But it does occur to you that you are hungry.
Well,
He
even
looks
with
to
that,
be in a severe state. Although not necessarily critical like yet.
Right.
But if he's left like this, he will certainly bleed out.
Right. Well, I'd like to do a quick search of his pockets. I'm trying to see if he got any kind of ID on him.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere at all.
He does have ID on him. You pull out his wallet. His name is Kevin Casey. You pull out a driver's license, some money, credit cards, and a private investigator's license. Around about that time, you hear a voice behind you.
What's it say?
It's a female voice. Speaks in a very thick Russian accent. What is this Duskborn doing here? It looks like you have broken something.
It ain't fully broken yet. And he goes to work trying to...
You're not even looking at the voice. You're just like patch.
Listening,
Mm-hmm.
listening, but fixing person so they don't die. Intently listening, but working.
Okay. Why you try to help him? He was here for quite some time. I was almost going to do something, and then you came along. Go ahead and I'm gonna say you have sufficient dots to stamp the wound and disable but any further to heal him, you stabilize him in a pretty appropriate fashion. It's not too difficult given the time.
All right. At this point, we'll turn to look to who's talking to him.
You pick up the flashlight. You turn, and behind you, in one end of the room, there is a Stygian cloud of blackness. not a shadow, a void. As you look in awe at this section of the room that has been erased from existence, the cloud forms and coalesces to a figure standing at the very opposite of the room, of a woman with dark hair, fine features, a white half jacket, very trendy, turtleneck, and designer pants with necklaces in her. She looks very fashionable. And she just stares at you with a cold, sort of calculating gaze. You rush to save him. You are lucky. He did not go downstairs.
Oh, he didn't go downstairs?
Not that I know of. I arrived here after he did. He did go in the room with the jars, though.
And who are you?
Let us say I'm a friend of Hannibal's.
Okay, so that's how you knew about this place? He told you?
No, he told somebody, and rumor gets around in this town. You are a friend of his as well, aren't you?
You could say that.
Mr. Milton.
Hey, well, it's good to know. Seems you have an advantage on me now.
Something like that. She walks forward very slowly, as not to threaten you. And kind of sidelines you and stands over the person. This is a problem. He was down there for long enough. What do you intend to do?
I don't know. I was gonna call Hannibal. Well, I was gonna call everybody.
Inconvenient. This human here.
Wait. Are you an anarch?
I am a free agent. And she sits down above him. You did good job healing him. What do you think Hannibal would do?
I don't know. But he'd probably know more about what to do than I do, unless you know what to do.
Well, you are his friend, yes. His coterie mate, Mr. Milton.
Yeah.
Based on what you think, what do you think Hannibal would do? He's game.
I don't know. I'm not Hannibal.
Guess.
I don't know. Throw him in the trunk of a car and drive him off a pier or something. I don't know.
You think he would kill this human?
I don't know. I think he may be capable of that, but I don't know. I'm just throwing out random ideas here.
She looks down at the body. I think you're right.
Hey. If anybody's... No. You keep your hands off of him.
She looks up at you with a gaze that does not brook any resistance. You, of all things, Do not tell me what I do and don't do. And with a speed that defies your senses, she reaches forward and grabs the person, and with a force inhuman, granted to her small frame, snaps his neck. While staring at you. You can tell Hannibal he's welcome.
From who?
My name is Irina. And she stands.
Irina. Pleasure to meet you, Irina.
So what?
It really is.
What brings you down here, Mr. Milton?
This is on our patch. I came down to investigate what was here.
I heard there was Sabbat here. Is this true?
I mean, it's not really my place to say.
Good. I'm glad Rabbit has found crickets to follow along in his wake.
Cricket? You're calling me a cricket?
No. Well. I noticed you watching building above. My guess is Sabbat here used place as a cover. What do you think, that they put Hunter graffiti on wall? And it is anybody can write on the wall.
What's Hunter graffiti? I know what graffiti is, but what's a hunter?
You need to read a book or two, I think.
Are there books on us?
Some.
Well, please point them out, because I haven't been able to find anything other than movies and fiction.
I would be very careful about what you find here and who is told to. But you seem to already know that. Sabbat were here for some reason. You took them out. This is why I come. Sabbat always interests me. So in that way, you have done me favor.
You're welcome.
Well, there's nothing here anymore. Except for dead body, of course.
Right. Now, are you going to deal with that?
It will not be here when you return, although there is still a pile of corpses down below I would deal with. I will not carry that many dead things.
Well, shit.
She
It
turns.
was good to meet you.
And she goes to walk out the room. And she stops. Mr. Milton.
Yes, ma'am.
You are his coterie mate, yes?
Yes.
She turns and looks at you, again with that ruthless stare. If you ever harm him, Duskborn, I will make you pay for it for eternity.
And I believe you would.
Goodbye. And she walks out abruptly. When you go to look down the hallway after her, hallway is nothing but darkness. We are going to turn abruptly to Charlie. Charlie. Two evenings later, you arrive at the hospital, as usual. You come approaching in through your normal employee entrance. You walk into the labs, which are now, tonight, very empty, as the normal person who is replacing Emily has not shown, as Emily had left you a message the night previous that she would be reporting for work, although a bit late. You enter the office, cursory look over the work that was done, see that everything's in order. The door has been replaced, of course. Reports were filed about the intrusion. Using your deftness at manipulating paperwork, you arouse no suspicions to your knowledge. You go walking into the office and you notice that there is a light beeping on your phone. A message.
Walk over to the phone. And I look around the rest of the lab. Is there anyone here?
No. Lab is empty for the moment. Emily told you she'd be in soon, so you are expecting her at some point within the hour.
I'll close the blinds and then close the door of the office and pick up the phone and listen to the message.
We are a female voice comes over the other side. Hello, Mr. Allsun. This is blah-de-blah. I am the secretary for... I forgot the name. Give me a second. That was going to be smooth, then I just screwed it up.
You're already going with the blah blah. You might as well just lean.
Yeah, blah blah. No, I'm not gonna lean into it.
Blah blah.
It's important. This is hello. This is the secretary for one Jacob Stillman. For the Sunrise Group. Please call us back at the earliest convenience. Gives you the information.
Call them back.
You pick up the phone, you dial a number. The same female voice comes in. Jacob Stillman.
Hi, this is Charles Allsun. What can I do for you?
Please hold. Let me patch you through. And then a couple of seconds later, a male voice comes over the line. Very familiar male voice. Chuck. Sorry to call under these circumstances. I understand you've been relocating.
Yeah.
We've been meaning to send a person on over there. My understanding is that things are very difficult right now.
Things are a little bit tenuous, but things always are during a move.
I see. Well, I'm not sure why, but Randall seems to be really interested in your break-in. and he's pushed me up to kind of make sure that we're all on the same page over here. We got a lot of operations and things like that, and of course, you know, we're not going to intrude on what you're doing. But since you've relocated to be closer to your work, well, communications hasn't been there. And Randall wanted me to check up on you.
And what specifically is Randall's aim in checking up on me?
I'm not sure, to be quite honest with you. But Randall is Randall. He said he was going to send a person over there and wanted me to call over to let you know. Was very pertinent about not visiting in person. I was almost going to show up on at your place. You know, ever since I left shop, I wanted to see what you've done with the place.
Well, I can't say that too much has changed, but I can facilitate a visit.
Excellent, I'll let him know. Well, it's been a good talk. You will send over the cost expense reports. We'd like to cover this for you.
They're already sent.
Excellent. And you're on track to make your quota.
Always.
Good. Good. I knew that technology, when you came around with it, would pay off. People said you weren't worth the expense.
People say a lot of things.
They do. They do. Well, good chat with you, buddy. You keep it up.
Yeah, you too.
And he hangs up. And you're left there.
Charlie is going to take the phone and he is going to break it into a million pieces.
I just had to make sure I was hitting you with that stick again. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, it's been at least an episode. There you go. Okay. As you sit in frustration breaking your telecommunications equipment. Lillith. You come driving in, still seething from the encounter with Jake. He was very short with you after you talked him down last night. Tonight you showed up with an extra bit of fervor in your step, restraining yourself from feasting off the victims of accidents or violence. Patients under your care. You did manage to get through the night, though. It was a tough night. You come walking in to meet Charlie. You see Emily walking in. Her hair is now completely cut and shaved, kind of styled in like a sort of a modern sort of urban punk, I guess. You know, I don't really know what to call it. It's, you know, it's like where you have the front's kind of long and it's kind of shaved in the back, and it's not bad looking, you know. Definitely not professional, but it's. You notice that the wound on the back of her head, as you're coming up behind her, is now completely healed. As she stops to the elevator and she pokes the thing, she turns back and she's like, "Oh, hey!
Good to see you back."
How are you doing?"
Been a rough night. Been a rough night.
I'm so glad you're here. I was kind of nervous, coming back. Oh my God, it's been rough. It's been a rough 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah, I left Mitch.
Did you move out or did he move out?
I moved out.
Oh.
I couldn't trust the place. So when I got home, right? Place was a mess, but that's to be expected. But our photo of our Vegas trip, like our very first like trip together, I think his hobo friend stole it.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I came home and the photo's not there, so I asked him about it, and he says he didn't notice, which of course I get mad about, but like I'm like, what do you mean? You never even touch these photos. He doesn't touch knickknacks or anything. And then I was like, wait a minute, didn't your friend say he stopped by her place?
Huh.
Nothing else was touched, just the photo.
Weird.
Yeah. So like the next night, so that night, I went over to Devaney's and I couldn't do it. So I tried texting him and he didn't answer. He says, "Oh, somebody took my phone or something like that." I don't believe him.
That's very intrusive and scary.
Yeah. I think it's really, I mean, like, this guy comes in and says he's like onto something big that involves both of us. Right? Like randomly. I think it's like some sort of drug dealing. I think he's like, I don't know.
Well, keep your ears open, but stay away, so you don't get in trouble anymore.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to where are you? Were you headed the same way? Like she gets into
Yeah.
the elevator.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. Devaney said she would let me stay at her place. I moved all my stuff out. It's in a unit right now, like a storage unit. But
Oh, well, at least you have a place to crash for now.
yeah, she's trying to keep her space because she doesn't want me to, You know what the weird thing is though? It's like I feel really good at being with her and everything, but can't stop thinking about that guy. The security guard guy, Hank.
Maybe you can leave Devaney's place and ask him if he's got a spare room.
I don't want to do that. I mean, he works for Charlie. Or Mr. Allsun, sorry. I'm on a first name basis with him, but like... I don't normally get like this, but it's like...
It's probably just a crush.
I guess I got hit in the head a little hard.
Yeah, it can spark up your sexual centers. I don't know, people have gotten hit in the head and they have extremely high libido all of a sudden.
Okay. Maybe I should do something about that.
Maybe. You should. Probably should.
Anyway, I gotta focus on work. I just gotta get back to work. I need some I don't know what I'm gonna do. I called the hospital and I said I wasn't comfortable with, like, I mean, I can't get him fired. I don't want to get him fired or anything, but like, so then he's not gonna be delivering to, they told me that they weren't gonna give him access to the Charlie's or to Summit Solutions. So at least there's that.
But what if it's not him?
Well, even if it's not him, he wouldn't have touched that photo. Somebody took that photo.
No, I meant what if it wasn't Mitch that did that?
That's what I'm saying. I think it's his friend.
You think the hobo did it?
Yeah.
I don't think the hobo did it. I think the hobo's just weird. Maybe on meth.
There's
You know
some...
how when you have those friends that are drug addicts sometimes and you're like, oh, that's nice, don't come around. Something like that.
Okay. Anyway, here we are, and she walks down the hallway, and she walks in. You walk in after her. You see Charlie, or actually you don't see Charlie because he closed the blinds. So yeah, you see the light on Charlie's office, and Emily, walks up to his office, knocks on your door, Charlie, and says, "Oh, I'm here, Mr. Allsun. I'm just gonna get to work because I'm a little late. I got a lot of catching up to do, and Lord knows they probably left a mess for me." And she turns around and she quickly starts going about her tasks, leaving you and Lillith in the office.
So I will come into the office and close the door behind me after Emily leaves.
Mm-hmm.
And I will look directly at Charlie. We need to go get a bite to eat.
Charlie will nod slowly and open the bottom drawer of his desk and pull out a canister, as if asking that question.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Are you using your herd, or are you skimming off of your supplies?
It's an empty canister. He's just using it as a reference because it's easily identifiable as...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Presumably you're gonna supply her with blood, yes?
That is the question.
She will nod vigorously.
Now, my question to the storyteller is, do I have any to spare?
I have not noted you used herd in the very first prologue, but it's been enough time that you can use your herd dots if you wish. Keep in mind that this will be accounted against whatever your like tithe, or no, you guys have your tithe covered, so yeah, you could use your herd and your herd dots. If you're going to want to skim off the top, then it's going to be a intelligence plus finance roll.
Okay.
Yes, I'm using finance for feeding.
That's fine. My character happens to be pretty good at that. 5 successes.
Okay, so against the difficulty of your feeding grounds, which is 3. So that's going to be, because it's bagged blood, you're going to immediately get enough to slake 1 hunger. And then the 2 extra successes are going to give you another one. Because bagged blood is, you have to procure more of it to slake. So. Or actually, no, it's not bagged blood, it's animal blood, I'm thinking of. Give me a second. I swear I know these rules.
Yeah, animal blood is half. I think.
It depends on your blood potency, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, her blood potency is low, because she's a fresh embrace, so. Blood bag is 1 per turn. Slakes no hunger. Okay, yeah. So you are able to slake 3 hunger.
Friends in the right places.
So do you do that in the office? Where do you feed her this blood? Or give her... I mean, obviously you could easily just go and you just, you make an accounting difference in the thing. You inform Emily, just set this off to the side. There's this error, blah, blah, blah. And then when there's obviously enough time, because it's a very large lab and she's off in different areas. And she even leaves and, leaves to go do other things and then come back. So there is enough time. Do you do it in the labs? Feed her blood, or do you give her the stuff and then she does it somewhere else in the hospital, or?
That's kind of up to her.
Okay.
Does it look like the office is private enough?
Yeah, there's privacy blinds because of meetings and things like that.
Then I'll do that.
Okay. so you slake your hunger. That takes you some time. We're gonna go back to... Well, let's go to Hannibal. Let's check up on Hannibal. Herkermer, you're still down there dealing... Where are you gonna leave? Or are you guys stuck around there for... Or are we gonna have to come back to you in that scene, or are you gonna exit?
Oh, you're gonna have to come back to me in that scene.
Okay. So, Hannibal? Is there anything that you wish to do? Or you wish to begin? Because you,
I believe I was still doing surveillance, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I'm just checking. So,
Sure.
you're still doing your surveillance. We'll go back to Herkermer, then, in that case. Herkermer? You're standing there, dead body, and, well, there's a dead body. Obviously, you're down there. What are you gonna do?
I'm assuming that the cell phones don't work down here.
Oh yeah, there's no way.
Okay.
You're under like many meters of ground.
Right. Right. Let's see. I make sure to take the piece of wood that I used as a weapon with me.
Sure.
Just so that I can dispose of it properly.
Yeah.
Where did I get shot?
You got shot in the chest.
Okay. So now I have a bullet hole to worry about.
Yeah, it's a small bullet hole. It seems to have like lodged itself. It didn't, pierce all the way through or whatever. I mean, there's obviously blood and lots of blood and stuff. Well,
right.
Actually, you don't bleed as much, but there is blood from the initial, because your blush of life does kind of have a fleshy sort of viscera to it.
Sure.
Do you wish to heal?
I would.
Okay.
Actually.
So you heal just like a normal vampire. So go ahead and make one rouse check for 1 superficial damage.
I succeed.
Okay. And you can keep doing that.
All right. I'm going to risk it one more time.
Okay.
I'd like to do it a bunch of times, but I don't think I could risk the hunger.
Yeah. You have to do it once at a time because it actually matters.
I succeed.
Okay. So you heal two.
Okay, and at this point, I think I'm going to stop.
So you heal some. The wound is still very much there. How much damage do you have on you, by the way?
4 now.
Okay. The wound is still very much there. You can still feel the vacancy within your chest as the bullet has done its damage. But you have managed to mend enough of your chest to actually like not be so apparent.
Right.
Small hole, big damage underneath. That makes sense.
Right.
So what do you do?
Climbing back up.
Mm-hmm.
Going back through the lab, seeing what's worth pilfering.
Okay, you can manage to find some beakers and vials and things like that. Most of the equipment, like as I said before, is very antiquated, so you don't have any modern sort of like distilling equipment or anything like that. But you could service it. It's certainly, especially with your handyman skills.
Right. Well, this is just me kind of cataloging everything that's down there, just so that I know when I come back, I know what's down there and I can come get it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of a quick catalog and plus grab a couple things that I need to refill my home lab.
Okay. Do you do any other searching or anything like that?
I am going to search the storage room as well.
Okay. You do notice that it was open. it looks like some of the trays were kind of like brought out but not put back all the way. Like somebody was like looking at, because remember there's like cubbies with trays, just to remind us, because it's been 4 episodes. Or no, it's been 3 episodes, if I remember right. Maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
I'll look at my episode by episode guide that I'm making. Anyway, so there's little cubbies with trays with esoteric occult antiquities of some sort, or tools in various trays, and they look like they've been pulled out and looked through, maybe handled. You do notice that at the end of the hall there's the one cubby with a glass dome that is sitting over a jar, basically like a little glass bell. The glass bell's been removed, and there's the jar sitting there, an old looks like something like a canoptic jar out of Egypt or something.
I'm going to put the glass thing back over the top of it.
Okay.
Set that back up.
Mm-hmm.
Could I get the private eye's name again?
Kevin Casey.
I knew it was a Casey. I forgot the first name.
Upon searching his phone as well, even though his phone would be locked. Sorry, they have locks.
Can I try and unlock it?
It has a little code. You could sit there and try to decipher it, but it's going to take time.
All right. Well, I'll take the phone with me because he ain't gonna need it no more.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna make sure to turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
Just so there's no power going to it right now.
Sure.
And then I'm gonna climb back up to where I can get cell phone reception and hopefully a new scrub top.
So you're going back upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, back upstairs doesn't have any light. You'd have to go. You could get one at the labs, of course, because there's extra scrubs and things like that, and you have access to the labs, the labs. The rabs.
All right, Connery.
It's a frap. Sorry. But the basement, in order to get like other than the labs, you'd have to go into the hospital, like, because the basement is just basically like the morgue, Charlie's labs. There's a garage. There's like the garbage, the linen place, but the linen place is always like closed and sealed. Like it's always like linens that have been put in bags and sealed and things like that, and it's not easily gone through.
Right. Well, then I guess I'm just gonna try and sneak my way back up to my shit box.
Okay. You could also. Oh, actually no, because last time Charlie was the one who got in the van. Never mind.
Yeah.
His little work van out.
Yeah.
Oh, so you go back up. You could easily go out the employees' side. Like I said, most of the place is under construction underneath, and not too many employees use the garage, the sub-basement garage, unless they're like hauling it out trash or something like that. So you can easily get out that way.
Right. Get in there, get into my car.
Okay.
Hyperventilate for about 5 minutes. Because I almost just died twice in one night.
You managed to avoid people going out, by the way, because anybody who would come up to you, like, yeah, they wouldn't notice you because of the small hole or whatever, but if they do walk up to you, they will notice, like, the blood and viscera. Like, it's not obviously your normal, like, blood splatter.
Right.
Like, it's coming, like, from you,
Right. Actually, when I get back into there, take the scrub top off, put like some shirts on and a coat on, just to completely cover the wound, and then immediately is texting Hannibal.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Is texting Hannibal. Major problem. Private eye in basement, I met Irina. We should talk. And at that point, he will drive away from the hospital, just trying to kind of clear his mind and get his shit together.
Now you're just texting Hannibal that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you drive back. Where are you driving to?
Just kind of around at this point. No
Okay.
real destination in mind. Just kind of.
How does Hannibal respond? Does he respond? I should say.
Where are you?
Driving around just past the hospital.
Question mark?
Need advice from you. PI is dead in basement.
Do you want me to meet you somewhere?
Yes, please.
Where? Use your words.
Well, I'm trying to think of where we meet.
No, that's what Hannibal says to Herkermer.
Oh,
Said, where? Please use your words.
meet at a park, the closest park to the hospital.
Sure, there's a little park in the medical facility where people often take their lunches and that sort of thing. It's pretty vacant this time of night. Has some patients that are out there getting let out or haven't been admitted yet, or are just like escaping to get a cigarette because they don't
Sure.
Sure.
Or actually, yeah. I'll tell you the little park that's near the hospital. Give location to Hannibal.
Okay. Right. Let's get back into it. So we were at a point in time where Herkermer and Hannibal had arranged to meet in a park. So I think that's a pretty good place to pick up from. Herkermer's getting a lot of attention. All right, so you guys find there's, like I said, there's a small park in the medical facilities. It's basically like a complex. You have St. Peregrine's Hospital, which stands in the very center, but there's also exterior buildings, and there's a small park in which people use to take their lunch breaks and so forth, or take walks. Right at this time of night, it's mostly you see a small crowd of people sitting out having cigarettes, mostly in hospital gowns and that sort of thing, as they have to walk the distance off of the premises to smoke. You see there also other itinerant houseless people, basically hanging out in a sort of an area, but you too can find a discreet distance from them to sit on a bench or meet, rendezvous, as it were. Yes, Hannibal.
I don't plan to meet Herkermer immediately. My plan is because the Herkermer's car that he's referred to as the shitbox, from what he's established, is very loud and very obvious. And so because of that, Hannibal plans to have parked on a different side of the park, we'll say, to have moved through the park in shadow or out of sight, and to be watching where Herkermer is to see if anyone has followed him there or anything like that.
As you surveil the surroundings before you approach Herkermer, I assume that you park your car and you go and sit at a place where you said you were gonna sit to him in.
I find a secluded kind of bench table
Sure.
set up. And actually, I was gonna say, while I'm waiting for him to arrive, may I heal some more?
Yes.
Or-
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get back to that in a second. The healing rolls. But as I was explaining, as you walk in to surveil the park, you do not see anybody loitering. Let me make a quick. Remind me what your aspects pool is.
Because I'm actively scanning, and are you allowing me to use Resolve plus aspects?
Yes.
Okay, then it would be 5 total, I believe, because it's my stat plus my discipline. So yeah, it would be 5 total.
Okay. Okay. You scan intently through the premises. You do notice that the bird that perches itself outside of Lilith's Haven seems to be loitering around St. Peregrine's Hospital in the distance. Not anywhere near the vicinity where you tend to meet Herkermer, but you do notice it as its aura pops up to you. Other than that, you do not notice any hidden individuals or other supernatural activity that would normally be obfuscated from the sight of normal people.
Did I need to do like an awareness challenge or anything like that to determine if Herkermer had been followed, or was that sort of encompassed within the...
That was encompassed. You don't see him being followed.
Okay,
So, no.
Awesome. Then I will, at that point, slowly move towards Herkermer, probably following a path, trying to seem like I'm a person just taking an evening stroll or something, even though I probably seem a little out of place.
It's fairly common, actually. You do see other people at the far other distances of the park who are just kind of like coming down from visiting a friend who may be in ICU, or being just coming out from the many hours of sitting in a waiting room, or maybe even just hospital staff who are just taking a break on their own. The park is fairly well lit. So there's not a whole lot of shady dealings or anything like that. Other than the group of people off in the corner, the smoking essentially. It doesn't seem too out of place as you walk up to Herkermer. You look to be fitting in.
Hannibal will approach and sit down at the bench near him, not looking directly at him, in a sense, sort of looking out into the park.
Okay, so you will take it away from there. Herkermer, you see him approach.
Herkermer kind of looks at him, kind of gives him a slight nod. You have some interesting friends. I met the one named Irina.
Where did you meet Irina?
Down in the basement.
In the previous Princess Haven?
Yeah.
What was she doing there?
Evidently, she was following this PI that I ran into and almost killed.
How did the PI get down there? Do you know?
I don't know. I didn't have time to ask him questions. All I saw someone was down there, and I reacted, and I didn't actually kill him. I hurt him real bad, but I fixed him. I fixed him up, made sure I stabilized him, and then Irina killed him. Just snapped his neck like it was a fucking toothpick.
Have you never seen someone killed before?
Not like that. Not so little effort that it looks like she's just, I don't know, flipping on a light switch. That seems a little ridiculous.
It's one of the gifts of the clan she's a part of.
And she was like made of darkness. Like it was dark in the room, but like around her it was darker.
Sure. Powers of her blood.
Sure. I just she also said that that Mr. Casey would be gone by the time we returned. But I thought it was very important to tell someone who knew more than me and maybe have a better idea what to do, that some random person waltzed into the cavern.
She's not a random person.
Well, not her. No, this PI, Kevin Casey was his name. Poor soul.
That is pretty strange. Do you know if he got down there through the hospital? Did you check to see if the entrance of the hospital had been changed at all?
I didn't remember what it looked like when we left. Things were open.
The shelf was covering the door. It would have been hard for a normal person to have moved it, unless we never moved it back, I guess.
I don't think we did.
I wonder why a private investigator went down there. Did he have any other information on him? Business cards? Paperwork, anything?
Herkermer will pull out his wallet and like the contents of his pockets that he found, that he kept. And he's like, yeah, I got all this. I didn't know what to do with it. And I got his phone too.
Did you take out the battery at least?
I turned it off.
Should take out the battery.
Click, click, click. Thump. Takes the battery out.
So, what?
Well, I don't know. I panicked. So I called the person who I thought would know more than me.
A mortal person, presumably either working for a kindred or someone who knows, went wandering into the previous prince's haven.
Yeah.
And then was killed.
Yeah.
I would say what you should do is track down who Kevin Casey was. Who he was working for, perhaps.
Okay. I just do you trust Irina to take care of the body?
Yes.
That's certain, huh?
Irina is the sort of person that when she says she's going to do something, she does it.
And I believe you.
So, should I get back to surveillance on the building, or?
Yeah, like I said, I panicked. You were the best person I thought to call.
Why don't you take the rest of the night off, take a break, clear your head. Looks like you could probably use it.
Probably. I think I'll do that.
You remember that conversation that we'd had a few nights ago?
I do.
When I said, this is the way of the world?
It wasn't even a second thought. She just snapped. Stared at me the whole time.
She was making a point.
Well, I get point received. She can kill me.
Perhaps there's a deeper meaning.
Oh, and she also said that it was good that you found crickets to follow you. Whatever that means.
She's referring to you.
She's strange.
She is quite old, extremely cunning, unbelievably intelligent, and absolutely merciless. She'll do whatever she has to do to keep herself and her own protected. She's not the sort of kindred you want to be enemies with.
To know.
But she does like to play games.
Better to know.
Just keep that in mind if you ever meet her again.
Will do. Well, my apologies for dragging you away from what you was doing.
The camera's still rolling. It's fine.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
And Hannibal will go walking off into the park the same way he came from.
Okay. What do you do, Hannibal? After you arrive at your car, where do you go?
At first, he's going to slip off into the hospital.
Okay.
And check the entrance from the hospital into the sort of secret passage, in a sense.
Okay. You go down to the second basement and the ramp. You proceed to go down. You can see quite easily in the darkness, so you do not have to carry a flashlight with you. You notice that the we'll say that in his haste he had closed and replaced it. But perhaps you adjust and make sure that it is quite secure. Did you go back into? Are you going all the way into the Prince's Old Haven, or are you just gonna check the entrance?
And will work his way through it. Once he checks the entrance to see if it's obviously an entrance, he's going to do what he can to try and cover it up, in a sense.
Okay.
so that people don't go wandering back in there again.
It definitely looked like it was you distinctly recall, as you were a careful person, not that Herkermer isn't a careful person, it's just that he did not have the advantage of making the assurances of closing, as he was the first to leave last time he was here. You remember distinctly closing it, and it is quite heavy. So you do notice that you do a cursory investigation around, and you notice that there is like, whereas when you had lifted the rack and moved it over, and it was quite difficult, but you were able to do it in just one, lift, essentially, and then, lift it back. You do notice that there is lots of scrapes against the dirt, and as though it, little lifts and pushing and pulling, and as though somebody who is much weaker than either you or Herkermer, it looked like it had definitely been tampered with. Obviously, Herkermer probably didn't notice, because of not being fixated on other tasks in mind, and not having the benefit of your acute night vision. But you do manage to put the rack back up. We'll say even security, for putting other tools and things like that in its way. So it's not easily accessed.
Am I able to slip through before I finalize and close it down?
Oh, yeah, you can go inside. Yeah, you definitely go inside. You do know you go all the way back into the Old Haven area. The body, you cannot locate, although you do see signs of the scuffle and wreckage. Where it took place in the sort of lounge sort of area in the interior. You do a check around the top, and notice the very same tools and so forth that had been, moved. It looked like also the bedroom had been sort of searched through a little bit, although you guys didn't really go in here last time, but it was kind of disheveled, so you don't know how much, to what degree it had been searched through. The staircase door is closed, but going downstairs and looking through downstairs, you see the room in the exact same state as it is, with a horrible stench of decay from the piles of dead bodies in the corner. The pigs look to be sort of emancipated, and you notice that one of the pigs is dead, as the other pigs have seeming to taking to eating it, as they have been left there for now going on 2 weeks, and are starting to eat their own. And the pile of books and so forth. Basically everything's exactly the way you had left it when you left, minus the pigs eating themselves.
I'm going to put the bodies. Yeah. Is it like a big pig pen?
Yes, it is. You notice that the pig pen now, having gone, it was made and fashioned out of some of the bookshelves and the jail moorings in the basement that you had discovered in the bottom of the sweatshop. Look, very old iron grating that was fashioned a long time ago. Looks like, back when people made things by hand. Or in smaller manufacturers, not prefabricated, industrialized stuff that you would see in the modern era. So it's very, very sturdy stuff. It's, reinforced wood and metal reinforced with itself.
Hannibal is gonna start feeding those extra bodies to the pigs.
Okay, so you just toss in the pig. They look around, and, they, of course, some of the fresher ones, the ones that haven't undergone a extended time of decay, they start to eat. But some of the bodies are starting to get into the more advanced stages of desiccation and rot.
So those ones will probably need to be like burned or something.
Something like that, yeah. But they'll eat through a good quarter of the bodies.
Sure.
Because pigs will eat anything. At least to my understanding of pigs. I've never owned one.
After that, Hannibal will, and we don't have to go through it too intently.
Yeah.
But we'll start looking for a way to dispose of the extra bodies, whether it be like finding a furnace down here if one exists or something like that in order to.
We can cover that off screen time. That's fine. So you're gonna start basically you're gonna take a look and start thinking about how to get rid of these bodies, and you're gonna try to dispose and do some of it now, but then after you're done with whatever you do, you're going to leave and replace the grating or the rack is holding up basically a big metal plate. So as I described before, so you can stick it up there and then make sure that no one else is gonna, or at least do what you can to secure the entrance. Correct?
Yeah. And then after that, I'm going to leave the camera running on the surveillance on the warehouse and go do the other surveillance I had planned.
Okay. So we're going to go back to Lillith and Charlie. Lillith, you have finished feeding. And you're standing there with Charlie. Emily's in the background. You're slaked. We'll cut into that scene where you're standing in the office room talking to Charlie.
So where is everybody else?
Wagner said he was going to go under, investigate some things.
Is this how we normally do things, like solo?
No. But I think that there's a little bit of tension in our merry band.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know how you feel about a lot of the things that are happening. I'd be interested to know.
Well, what do you want to know?
Obviously, there was some mixed feelings about what happened with Emily.
Yeah, I had a discussion with Deacon and came to a resolution with that.
Are you still pissed at Hannibal?
A little bit. Not because it's what he did, because I understand why he did it, but because it had to be done. And I just don't know where to place that anger.
Well, we should place that anger at the people who did that to Emily. Because
Fair.
placing it on Hannibal isn't fair.
I have to talk to you about something, but away from here.
Oh. Apologies, I didn't know that you meant that we should leave the area.
Well, for what I need to tell you, we do. Just when you get a moment.
Let me call someone in here to keep an eye on the office. I just feel better having someone else here around Emily for the time
Agreed.
being. Yeah. Charlie will reach down towards what used to be his phone and then quickly realize he needs to access another one.
You're not without a shortage of a phone in your office, let me tell you. So you can like just open the door and quickly grab the phone off the wall. And are you calling the hospital?
I'm calling Devaney's line.
Oh, okay. So you call Devaney. Now Devaney is more than likely at home, so you're calling her cell phone, correct?
Sure.
Yeah. Oh my god. You know, like, here's the deal. If this is gonna be a thing with you, like, and hanging out with you is gonna mean staying up all fucking night, we're just gonna have to stop being friends. Because this is killing me. I have to go jogging in the morning.
Okay, well, they do say to keep your enemies closer, so if we're not going to be friends, get your ass over here.
What do you want?
I have to leave the office for a little while, and I don't feel safe leaving Emily by herself here.
Oh, so your psycho hobo friend is an assaulter?
What?
Yeah, she told me about the picture, dude. Didn't you know? I don't know what's going on. Like, I've been trying to, like, not, like, dodge this stuff because I know that, like, I'm, you know, like, the kind of, you know, secret mafia conspiracy Illuminati organization will kill me if I talk, and there is no Fight Club type shit. Anyway. Yeah, like I've been like apparently like somebody broke into her apartment and took her phone or a photo. I think it was this Mitch guy. I've been trying to like honestly respect it. She's in a relationship. I mean I totally want to get with her, but like I just don't you know, this is really awkward. I'm just saying. Did she get attacked because of your stuff? You didn't like try to like go all like ham on her, as it were. Did you?
No.
Okay. I didn't think you would. I mean, you kind of couldn't talk in front of other people. I get it. Like,
Look, I'll call someone else.
no, I'll come down and I'll totally come down. I'm just saying, it's like, you know, because you know, obviously we can talk now. I can't really talk in front of other people about this because it's your secret, and I don't really want to do that to you, you know. But like, this is like serious. She got attacked, dude, and I think it was like, if it wasn't your friend, your weird friend, you know, it might be Mitch or something like that, but I'm just saying. I'll be down there in a minute, and I think she'll be okay. You know, she's been kind of out of it since the attack, so she keeps on like staring off into space, and she's like talking about like, you know, if she should like rock a leather jacket or something, you know, like, I don't know. Yeah, I'll be down there in a minute. But you owe me. Like, this is 2.
Yeah.
She hangs up. Now, Lillith, I'm just going to ask, you have heightened senses.
Yes. Yes, I do.
So you could have very easily overheard that other conversation. The other side of that conversation. Obviously, you heard Charlie's side of it. Would she have left Charlie to his conversation? I mean, because it is innocuous. He's just calling a friend down, Devaney.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I think he mentioned who he was calling, but...
She would have listened to the conversation, but not addressed it and left him to it.
Okay. Is this something that Charlie would see on her face? Is there anything in there that would be visually expressive on your face? Shocking information.
No, but she would have smirked when he said his hobo friend stole the photo.
Okay. So upon hanging up and going back and seeing Lillith staring at you, it's up to you to determine whether or not you would have, or maybe later on, suspect something. But we'll say for now, you probably didn't notice. So you wait a little while. Devaney comes walking in. She scans her card. As you know, she doesn't work for Summit Solutions. She's actually a lawyer. She used to work for Summit Solutions, but she now is a lawyer for Sunrise, as when Sunrise acquired Summit Solutions. She comes walking in, though, scanning her key card. And she's like, she waves at you, and she walks over to Emily, and Emily comes out of the storage as she's like kind of hauling stuff back and forth in the cold storage. She looks like she's like frantic. Like, you know, when you come back, a person who's got an obsessive complex over their job, you know, has everything exactly the way they want it to go, comes back after 2 days of having somebody else do their job for them. Yeah, it's like that kind of panic. But she's like, she says, "Go hi," and then, you know, you hear them talking and chit-chatting. Upon observing them, you notice that they're extremely friendly with each other, much more like than friends. They seem to be, you know, standing very close to each other. You notice you haven't seen Devaney act in this manner for quite some time. She's usually she puts up a very rough exterior towards other people that would be trying to, you know, basically get in her pants. She's very off-putting, uses her wit and sarcasm to kind of deflect people. But she's standing very, very close to, you know, like, you know, petting and things like that. You know, like just little excuses to touch, and be in contact with the person. She definitely looks like a person who has developed emotional feelings for Emily. And she looks over, she's like, "Go away." You know, like, you can't hear her because she's in the other room, but like, she's like, "Get out of here."
And I will casually just flip her off and leave.
As you exit with Lillith in tow, right? Where do you go?
I look to Lilith. Where do you want to have this chat?
Well, we could go to HQ if you want.
All right.
Okay. So you go and you leave. You get, I'm assuming Charlie. Does Charlie drive?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Charlie drives you both back to the Coterie Haven, in Mutual Haven, which is now actually Herkermer's residence, primary residence. And we'll just check in real quick with Herkermer again, because you did leave. Where did you go back to the Coterie Haven?
Yeah, I would have went back. I would have went back there to take the things that I pilfered and add them to my home lab.
Okay. So you go walking in. You actually drive up right as you see Herkermer hauling in the last of the equipment. He's basically carrying some boxes that he had scavenged from the hospital, like these plastic sort of like folding boxes, and inside they're kind of opened and they have like the weird beakers and things like that. You recognize them from the old Princess Haven, the antiquated, chemistry sets and things like that. You guys come following him in as he's, we'll say he noticed you. But obviously you're on a street corner, so you're probably not going to hold a conversation right there, unless you want to.
We should probably go inside. I'm glad you're here because I want to talk to you too.
Oh, good, because I have stuff I need to share with the both of you.
Okay.
Before we go any further, just to check in, just because it is, this might be a scene, like with Hannibal. Do you want to, were you doing it, just continuing to do the same thing that you were going to do? Or do you would
with presumably new information, Hannibal is going to head to the other location for surveillance.
Okay.
I presume you know what location I'm referring to?
I think so, but I'm really kind of paranoid that I don't know. Like, do I? You may mess. Huh? Yeah.
I made mention in my desire who I was trying to find.
Okay.
So presumably, I would be at the location scanning and looking for that person, perhaps.
Okay. So, we'll just say we'll come back to you in a minute then, and so you guys, all three of you, enter the Coterie Haven. Lillith, Charlie, and Herkermer.
So, Herkermer, did you go to Emily's house?
Well, I went to Mitch's house.
Yeah. Did you steal a photo?
I did. I wanted to take it as a thing that proved the connection between the two of them, to show Hannibal that there's no way that Mitch could have done it, because they were in a relationship. So I took it as proof.
Do you have a phone on you?
Yeah.
You could have taken a picture of the picture, right?
Yeah.
Because she noticed.
Shit.
Yeah, so she's totally convinced that you have something to do with all of this. And then apparently you said that you were onto something big that involved both of them.
Well, I had to come up with something pretty quick to get in there and ask some questions about what happened, and I'm sorry. That's what came to mind.
Maybe we shouldn't be separated and investigating things on our own.
Oh yeah, you're telling me I got shot.
Yeah, I see the hole.
Well,
Actually, you wouldn't, because he's wearing different clothes.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah. He'll lift it up though. I got shot.
On the flip side of that, I think at the current time, the only person who's safe to visit me at the hospital at the moment is Lillith. Unless Emily's not around, and then Hannibal is all right to come in.
Yeah,
So
well,
who
I
shot?
got. Oh.
Who shot you?
A private detective by the name of Kevin Casey. I don't know why he was down below in the basement underneath the hospital. I don't know why he was there. some random human person just walking through the old Princess Haven.
Do you have his phone?
I do.
Yeah, where is he?
Oh, he dead.
You killed him?
No, I did not kill him. I met a friend of Hannibal's by the name of Irina, and she killed him. Like, staring at me the whole time.
Did you allow this?
It was so fast. It literally faster than I could act. And it was just snap.
So there's a random vampire killing on our patch.
That's a friend of Hannibal's.
Does she own this patch?
No,
So my friends can come in here and kill mortals too?
I wasn't setting that as a qualifier. I was just saying that she's a friend of Hannibal's. So you should probably talk to Hannibal about that.
As far as I know, that sounds like his sire's name, from what I've heard. There was that big discussion when you guys were talking in, I can't remember, there was a big discussion between you and Xylus, and you mentioned her name.
What episode?
I can't remember. I cannot remember.
Just to clarify really quick, the only person that should have any idea that Irina is Hannibal's sire is Charlie. Unless Irina specifically told people otherwise, because the only person that
Yeah,
Hannibal
he's right. He's right.
mentioned it to was Charlie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just to clarify that.
Yeah, well, I'd like... And I don't think that any of us could have stopped her. Because,
So then this is her patch.
I can't... I'm not saying that. She's not an anarch, though.
Look, we'll
She's
talk
specific.
with Hannibal about Irina.
Yeah, I don't know who she is. And evidently she thinks I'm a cricket.
Pet names.
She called me a cricket.
Pet names. She doesn't refer to, well, anyone, at least as far as I've seen, by their name.
So you know her.
Well, in a roundabout way, she's part of what brought us all together.
What do you mean?
I met her the night of my banishment. And because of my conversation with her, she saw fit to send someone to look after me. That someone was Hannibal. And because of that interaction, we ended up finding you and Herkermer. So
she's our patron or something?
no.
Because this person seems dangerous. They're not an anarch, which means that they're
She's
Camarilla.
absolutely dangerous.
Yeah, and she's not an anarch, which means she's Camarilla, which means she's fucking with shit in our patch. Now, how do we handle that?
We're going to talk to Hannibal. And we're going to ask him what he thinks the best course of action is, because he is the one with the closest personal connection. Now, I've had people from my estranged family come and check on me, but they haven't done so on the territory.
Well, I don't mind
They've
anything like that.
Certainly
But
not been that intrusive, but
it seems like killing our food is kind of counterproductive, no?
it seems like killing a lead might have been counterproductive.
But not killing our food?
I don't... sorry. It's hard for me to call them that.
That is a little. This is a little dehumanizing.
Look at us. We're not normal. We're not them.
Doesn't mean we should turn into something worse.
Okay. Humans. Is that better?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm not saying that the matter shouldn't be dealt with. I'm just saying that with someone of her standing, her connections, Hannibal will know how best to address this situation.
Also, I'd like to just point out the fact that there was a random human in the old prince's haven.
Honestly, that's the part that I'm more interested about.
I'm more
Same.
interested that he's a private investigator, not just a human, because humans can find their way. They're like roaches. They can find their way anywhere. But why a private investigator? Maybe
Exactly. It was a private investigator, and they were investigating something that we have direct ties with.
maybe you should go through his phone.
I would like to.
Well, here you go. I took the
I'll
battery out.
Take the phone.
Okay. Since you have enough concerted effort and time, and you are extremely adept at technology, it is not completely. It's just like one of your standard, like, you know, lock sort of things. So we could say that you could try some of the more common passwords, or, you know, like gestures that people might enter. And it's going to be a difficult challenge. So go ahead and give me an intelligence plus. Well, actually, I'll say intelligence or wits, because it's kind of like an impression thing. You know, it's not like a. It could be either you're using fundamental knowledge that you know about security, or it could be our technological security, or it could be like, you know, sort of like a intuition sort of thing, because having based off of your own experience. Yes, Lilith.
Can I assist?
Yes, I was gonna add assistance dice because there are other people here who are like gonna have guesses, and they do have technology as well. So go ahead and your choice of attribute: intelligence or wits, and technology. Difficulty will be 5, and you're gonna add 1. We'll say 2 dice. Go ahead and add 2 dice.
Okay.
I'll be nice.
5 successes.
5 successes is your difficulty. The degrees of successes will determine. Well, yeah, it's a kind of more or less a succeed or fail. So yeah, you need 5 successes.
No. 5 successes is what I rolled.
Oh, well, you nailed it on the money then. So yeah, you succeed. You unlock the phone. He wasn't using anything fancy. You know, he just like did the little square thing that you.
I'm gonna go through the messenger.
Okay. You're searching the phone.
Yeah.
Okay. You. In addition, all right. So first of all, you find photos of the first floor of the Prince's Old Haven. He took a lot of photos of the artifacts, particularly of the urn. He took photos of every inch of the bedroom and the lounging area and the storage, and etc. You know, he did not take any photos of downstairs. So you don't know whether or not he actually made it down that way. You check old messages, and documents and things like that. He has a. Okay, so about 3 weeks ago now, you see texts from Janet Cicero. She is inquiring, or she you see a couple calls from Janet Cicero, and then you see texts saying, "Oh, thank you for doing this. This is, I'm really glad I got the idea. This is the greatest thing. If you could help me do some more research on this, you came highly recommended." And he starts asking questions. He's basically texting back and forth, and he's like, "Okay, so tell me why again you wanted me. You got the idea to do this." It's like, "Oh, the other private investigator is doing, but I can't find him, and the hospital is building a case. I'm gonna need obviously information just in case I get sued. So I hired you." And he starts asking a lot of questions about the interaction. From her side, she's like, "Oh yeah, they're just investigating." Like what you overheard and what you heard them relay to you in off-screen time, about the interaction. Basically, it seems like she 100% bought it. Right, she's just like, "Oh yeah. And so he starts asking questions about the area. He's like, "Hey, there's a club down the street. Do people walk home from that?" And it's like, "Oh yeah." It's like, where they, because I talked to a couple of people, right? And a couple nights later, he's like, "Yeah, I end up tracking those people down who were walking home. They say some weird. Would you remember there being a strange homeless guy?" It's like, they said they saw this weird homeless guy staring at them the entire time. Did you remember that? It's like, "No, I didn't notice anything." And then, a couple days or two, it's like, I think I'm going to follow this lead into the construction projects they were talking about. That you mentioned that was the what Andrew Cole was doing before he died, and that was what the other private investigator was investigating, right? Oh. And then he's like, "I haven't been able to find this other private investigator. But okay." So, and then there's really no mention after that. You notice that there's some public document records that you took pictures of basically the official, documentation behind your business, like what you have registered business license wise with the department and everything like that. And he has some information on a notepad about Charlie Allsun, and information about you, Hannibal Wagner, ? Journalist ? He has, other than that, he doesn't seem to have anything on Lillith. Who is the woman? So I'm gonna stop here for a second, because out of character, if you remember back at episode 4. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. She was the person that worked in the construction company, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So just to recap for people, in episode 4, you guys were investigating the disappearance of a kindred called Andrew Cole, and you had an interaction with Janet Cicero. And after that interaction, I was rolling to see how well she bought it in post. Because at the moment, when she was terrified and scared that she was going to be financially harmed or sued or something, she bought it. You succeeded. You failed at the roll, but I offered you a win at a cost. So that's that. Not she would buy it, but somebody else would start asking questions. So, back to you.
So it looks like this was Janet Cicero's private investigator.
Well, that sucks. Some random person just got killed. That's horrible.
Well, he shot you, so I think he was expecting to kill people down there.
Well, I attacked him first.
But what's a private investigator doing with a gun?
I don't
Down
know.
at the hospital.
They're legal people. They can carry weapons.
Well, anybody can carry a weapon, but why are... That's weird.
Oh, man, we're missing a golden opportunity here.
For what?
At least publicly, we can tie the coal thing with a nice, beautiful bow. Wrap it up nice and pretty and put it to bed.
What?
How?
The private eye. What if he was the one who attacked Emily?
Well, there's not going to be a body. Because Irina said that the body was gonna be gone by the time we got back there.
Oh, well then, we've already missed our opportunity.
I don't know why she didn't add it to the pile. Maybe she did add it to the pile. Did somebody check?
I did not.
I think we just need to go down there with fire.
Where's the smoke gonna go? I could get one of those smoke
literally-
suckers. You know, like when you're trying to smoke a joint in a room and then you have like those things that suck the smoke out, but we're gonna need a lot of those.
All I'm saying is we just can't keep that place as it is down there.
If you guys are going to discuss how, like, basically to remove the bodies and things like that, all the things, we can discuss that more in depth off screen, the details and functions. So we can assume that you guys are going into an in-depth conversation about that. But as we are,
No, that was as close as I wanted to touch on that.
is there anything more that anybody's going to add into the scene before we move on to Hannibal?
No.
Did you have anything else you needed to discuss with me?
Oh, just it was the Herkermer taking the photo and Emily realizing that he did, and now trying to figure out how we're gonna explain that one out.
Well, there's this private eye. Seems to be snooping into a whole bunch of stuff. He's not going to be around anymore, so his reputation doesn't really matter.
Okay. I'll let you do that legwork.
Use the tools you've got, right?
So we'll move now back to Hannibal. It's a little awkward juggling the scenes tonight. With everything else that's been going on anyway.
You're doing great, Spoon. We love you.
But I do want to reprise Hannibal because you have been doing surveillance. You have found an appropriate perch, whether that is actual perch or on the ground is up to you. Enough to get a vantage point of the location. The alleyway dips off of the street into a large sort of complex surrounded by abandoned buildings and so forth. You notice not very much activity. There is an old white man who is looks like basically Mickey out of Rocky, you know, like that. He's got that, you know, he's kind of perched in his normal place in the corner. You don't see any sign of the younger people that you've heard about. The gang that resides there. The night seems pretty uneventful until you see one woman, a younger woman, probably in her early 20s, 2021. She comes walking out with another person about the same age. And they're having some sort of really heated argument. Loud enough that you can hear. From your vantage point, which I'm assuming is at least a decent distance away to remain hidden. He's like, no, I'm tired of this. But he sits there and smokes dope with you once, and you guys are all of a sudden going off and just starting to, you know, do some sort of drug operation. And she's screaming at the top of her lungs like crazy, you know, like when people are in those like that crazy awkward argument in the middle of a street or something like that, you know, like, and the dude's like, dude, shut up. It's like, no, he's completely changed. He's completely changed. What the fuck is wrong with you? All right, get the fuck away from me. I thought you guys were all about helping people. That's why I'm here. It's like, no, all you and Doobie want to do is sit around and smoke fucking weed. And do fucking coke and steal from fucking people. I'm tired of it. I thought it was okay. I was okay with it up until the point that you started only doing it for taking shit for yourselves. You're just out for yourself, you selfish bastard. That's not gonna help me at all. I got a fucking kid. I gotta go fucking get that kid back. I'm on the street because of you pieces of shit. And the younger man is like, you know, obviously screaming back at her. He's like, fine, you know, fuck you. We're gonna go get rich. And he goes walking off. And she's like, she sits down on the curb. The older man comes saddling over to her and kind of sits down next to her. Starts to put an arm around her. And she's crying. You can't really hear what they're saying at this point because it's, you know, obviously taking place in between sobs. What do you do?
With the scoped rifle in hand, Hannibal is going to start leaping between these other buildings, kind of trying to form a circle around to see if he can keep these people in line of sight and the place, but also see where the younger man who stormed off is going.
He storms off. He walks down the block. He pulls out a cell phone. He dials on it, and then about, let's say, 30 minutes later, a car pulls up. It's an old, rusted-out shipbox, very similar to Herkermer's, except for obviously a different car. You notice that there are several other young people, mostly around the ages of 20, 21, 23, maybe. You know, who are there's loud music. You notice smoke coming out, and you're like, hey, what's up, man? It's like, fuck that bitch. You don't need her. We're gonna make all the money now. And then as the guy gets in the car, you hear one last thing before the door shuts. Is like, yeah, Herkermer's onto it. Now, obviously, the car's going to pull away, and you're perched on your roof. But you can gain the license plate information and other requisite information, see the direction it heads.
Could I follow them? Like, how dense are these buildings in this area?
In this section, they're actually quite packed together. You can actually, you don't even need your supernatural ability to jump or leap to kind of, because they're like narrow, up against each other.
I'm going to hop and follow them until I get a general direction of where they're going. If like they're turning immediately or whatever, I'm going to head back to my car.
Okay.
And then try to head to that point to tail them. Okay.
So go ahead and give me a drive test. Plus, I don't know, what attribute do you think would be appropriate? It's not a skill like a you're not testing reflexes or anything like that. I would think it would be
Are you okay with awareness? Because I'm just trying to keep aware of where they are and where they're going, but I'm giving them space, so it's not like a race or anything like that, but instead of it's just more of just.
I think awareness would be okay. Yeah, sure. Let's go intelligence awareness, because you'd actually have to, in following them, you'd actually have to plot out where they go and then kind of try to keep yourself at pacing level. That's okay?
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Oh. That is 4 successes.
Very good. Okay. You managed to plot out that they are driving towards a they're going more south, actually more in the direction of 6th and Madison. They end up in an area that is actually no more than 10 blocks from the site that you infamously met the Red Queen. There is a very similar warehouse that's kind of caged off. You notice that they drive up and they unlock it. Though this one doesn't have an expansive property like the site at 6th Man. It's very much abreast of other sort of buildings and so forth. They pull up, they get out of the car, they walk in the car. I'm assuming that you would be getting out of the car at some distance away so you could survey them with a scope. They walk up to sort of like double doors. It's very much abandoned and condemned. Yes.
Using Shadow Cloak, am I capable of sneaking all the way to the warehouse and then making my way like up above it, like to like a skylight that I could crack open, or an upper level that they're not within or something, so that I could potentially try to listen in?
Yeah.
Is that something I could do without having someone notice me very easily?
Yeah, you'd have to make a roll, of course. But Shadow Cloak could assist you in that roll. Okay. Shadow Cloak, let me pull up the rules, because as we know, my knowledge of obtenebration is not as.
Shadow Cloak just gives me a +2 to my intimidation and stealth. Well, it is
okay, and it's free. Yeah. All right. Cool.
Yep.
Okay, so go ahead and give me a stealth roll. Because there's a physicality to it. You can use dexterity or strength even, because you do have to climb and such.
And this is not versus kindred, I presume, so I don't get my specialty?
No.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to choose to spend a willpower to reroll 3 of my black dice. So far, I have 3 successes, but I just don't want to chance it.
Yeah. How much willpower damage are you at? Just as a notation.
That will be my second superficial willpower box, and I was going to check in about that, because did I heal superficial willpower damage last week, Or because we didn't get into the scene, did I not fulfill my desire?
Well, you attempted it, if I remember right.
Okay.
So yes, you would have. As desire does not matter whether or not you fulfill it, because
I see.
it matters whether or not you attempted the action and became a driving motivation for your character. We're talking about the desire attribute out of the book here, where they set their goals basically for the game, their plans.
I would have had no willpower damage, and that would be my first willpower damage.
Sure.
Okay, so I rolled a crit. Well, no, not an overall crit, but I roll 4, 5, 6 total successes, including the 3.
All right, so yeah, you're Ninja Man over here. And you find yourself perched on a skylight, overlooking a larger warehouse floor that's been kind of stacked up and lived in. You can imagine this sort of scene out of like Stranger Things or something, where they have that like kind of small area where they have like couches and things like that set out. You see lights, and there's a lot of you notice new things. It looks like there's boxes that have been stacked on with like stereos or CD players, and well, maybe actually like phones and things like that. Looks like a bunch of stolen goods that have just kind of been opened and tossed around. And you notice there's definitely a living space where everybody kind of sort of sleeps, a central area where everybody's kind of hanging out. There seems to be about 8 of them. They're all sitting around, and they are doing various at first you think it's drugs, normal, just passing pot around or whatever, but it's actually, you realize that they're actually sitting around a large pot that is bubbling, right, as those cooking, and they're taking stuff out of it and they're drinking it, right? But they look like it's like they're drinking some sort of weird moonshine or something like that, because they definitely look like they're intoxicated on something. But it's over like this sort of like manufactured stove. The only time you've ever seen anything relatively like this was actually with Herkermer's experiment in Lilith's kitchen. It vaguely reminds you of that. You are able to listen in because of your vantage point being above them. They're like, oh yeah, man, I can't wait till we get this lab going. This stuff is great. This is the best. This is the best, man. Everybody's gonna want this shit. Oh my god. You see one guy who seems to be generally the leader, a large, a lanky guy with long hair, and he's got kind of like the dude thing, going on. He's like, dude, oh my god, I'm so glad that we don't have to. We could just sell all this stuff, and we'll like be rich, dude. Yeah, like totally. We're gonna have a whole factory in here. I just can't wait till I get servants like serving me. I'm gonna totally hire a servant, like a butler and shit. And they're just like, and they're all laughing, and they're all fucked up, and they sit there for a good portion of the night, just basically doing that, like essentially until like some of them start to pass out. But at the end of it, you're just like, dude, where's Herkermer? Like, he needs to be here. Like, we're almost out of this stuff. He needs to give us more. What the fuck? I'm so glad that dude finally calmed down and got off his shit and started fucking smoking with us, man. This is the best. I didn't know he could do this. This is the best, dude. I didn't even think about it. This is like better than fucking like fucking yeah. Dude. I can't even believe he does it. Like, you can make this shit. This is the best thing ever. I can't wait till we start cooking it ourselves. Yeah, bro. I know. That's right. Hey, where's your girl? Where's Casey? Oh, man, she got like up in my arms. She's like, what about the community? We're supposed to be just stealing stuff for people. Now we're just doing it ourselves. She's just getting uptight. Like, dude, I'm done with her. Yeah.
I'm going to wait until one of them leaves the pack, in a sense, maybe going outside to piss or something like that by themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And then once that happens, and as long as they're an isolated person, I'm going to sneak down behind them and basically ambush them from behind. The hope is to basically hold a gun to their head so they don't move and freak out, and then to start questioning them.
Okay. So you jump on them and put them down. You could very easily do it. Like, let's just say, because you pick the it's the slightly younger looking one, maybe around the age of 18, 19. Right. He's very lean, and he's actually one of the more quiet ones. Just sitting there, like, just off in his own, like, weird zone, you know, the entire night. But you ambush him, you put the gun to him. What do you say?
I'm being very quiet.
Yeah.
I click the hammer, even though it's a semi-automatic weapon, it doesn't need to. There's just still that, you know, that intimidation with the sound of the hammer clicking back. And I whisper in a low voice. I say, "Where's Desmond?"
What? Who the? Dude, don't kill me, man. What the fuck? I don't know where Desmond is. Who the fuck are you, dude? Don't kill me. Oh my god.
Shh. Keep your voice down.
The fuck?
Herkermer brought you those things inside there?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, he just brought us the, well, we stole the stuff. Like, if you want some, do we steal? Oh, I'm sorry if we stole for you, dude. Like you don't got to go like Rambo on me. Like, don't hang me upside down and skin me or anything, dude. We were just partying and, you know, waiting for our dude, our homeboy Herkermer to get back. If you have beef with him, man, take it out against him. We're just chilling.
I'm looking for Desmond. Do you know what Desmond looks like?
Yeah. Desmond, like, do you mean the dude who hangs around Herkermer?
Yes.
I don't know the fuck where that dude is. We haven't seen him in weeks.
You're not lying to me?
No, dude, no, the fucking chill. Like, look at me. I piss in my fucking pants, man. And he, you know. Just don't fucking kill me, man.
Hannibal is going to, still holding the gun to him, or at least seemingly so, with the hand, he's going to take his pen out, draw on the back of the man's like hand, you know, like his hands are down at his side. He's going to grab one of his hands, pulling it up, and then hold it there basically with the tip of the barrel of the gun, and then write his phone number on the man's hand, on the kid's hand. And then he's going to push the hand back down to his side. And he says, if Desmond shows up, you call that number.
Okay.
Are we clear?
Yeah, sure. Do you want me to, like, I mean, like, I don't, like, okay.
You call that number, and then you tell me the address that you saw him at.
Sure. Do you want me to, like, ask, like, Herkermer?
Ask anyone.
Okay, just if I see him. Okay, dude, I won't say shit. I won't say shit.
You won't say shit.
No. I'll just call you, man. I'll just call you.
And then he'll hear the gun unclick, and then Hannibal will jump back up out into the darkness and night.
I think it would be a fitting place. And I can't wait till next week. Is Hannibal going to go and inform Herkermer of this? Or are you just going to...
Is he going... Okay, well, so correct me if I'm wrong, but the kid didn't see Hannibal's face.
No.
Because he came up behind him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he jumped away in time that, off into the night or up into the building, whatever, to where he didn't see him.
Sure.
No, Hannibal doesn't plan to bring up anything to anyone.
Wow.
Because
okay.
at this point, Herkermer seems like he's got some weird shit going on the side. And he kind of wants to suss this whole thing out before he brings anything to the group.
Nice. Okay, so we will, yeah. I love you, Ryan. Just saying.